Enhanced multidisciplinary teams, EMDTs, bring together professionals from various disciplines and systems to stop all forms of elder abuse at the earliest possible juncture. The primary function of EMDT meetings is to review cases of elder abuse with the goal of restoring safety and security for older adults and protecting their assets. Together, team members achieve this through coordinated case reviews and tailored responses to each unique case situation.
All right, so I have signed confidentiality agreements from everyone who is here today. And so our case presentation is from Caitlin Carlson with the Elder Abuse Prevention Program. So I will turn it over to you for the case presentation.
Thank you. So my client's name is Betty Smith. She is an 83-year-old female living alone. She's been widowed for 5 years. Her income is Social Security and a small pension totaling $1,200 a month. She owns her home, but other assets are unknown at this time. Based on a recent home visit I did with her, I observed some short-term memory loss and concerns that she might not be eating and has some unmet care needs. I am not aware of any other formal or informal supports at this time either. I received the referral in June from the bank due to concerns with financial exploitation after suspicious activity was noted in Betty's accounts, such as an increase in ATM withdrawals and duplicate bills being paid. Betty's daughter, Kelly Smith, lives locally and is named power of attorney. The bank did provide a copy of the power of attorney on file when the referral was made. When I initially visited Betty, she provided me with some of her monthly bank statements. They were unopened and some months were missing. We found some of the statements stuffed in between her couch cushions. Betty didn't want me to take the statements with me, but we reviewed them together. We noticed suspicious charges that Betty didn't recognize, including several transactions for rent and multiple cable and utility payments made each month. So some of the questions I have for the team are how to protect her finances and what other agencies should be involved.
I found a copy of the power of attorney that was on file with the county clerk's office, and it didn't appear to match the one that was provided to Caitlin by the bank. So I gave both copies to Lakeisha to take a look at.
Yeah, I did review both copies. These two are the same copy as evident by the signature date being the same date. However, the copy that is filed with the bank, it doesn't allow for compensation. However, the copy filed with the clerk's website, that checkbox is marked allowing for compensation.
Can I take a look at them?
Yeah. And so also, both copies do have a statutory gift writer allowed. So in theory, it seemed like the principal wanted the agent to make gifts to themselves. However, it's not filled out correctly. It doesn't identify what transactions are allowed.
When was the POA executed?
November 3rd, 2019.
Well, I'm curious about the date. So luckily I was able to look up some of her medical records. You know, it's a little, there are some holes in the records, of course, because I'm not sure who her primary care is now, but she used to have a primary care physician in the system, and I can see the notes. So there's a visit in August and October of 2019. And the primary care physician at that time was worried about some short-term memory loss, but I don't see any follow-up with that. And the primary care physician who she had at that time, I know is retired now. So I don't know if anyone's seeing her now. I think we should start with, finding the new doctor now. In her history, she has hypertension. And I don't know is she taking meds now?
I mean, if she hasn't been in to see a doctor in forever, she may not be.
Right.
So finding out who's doing her prescriptions, if we can get that referral going again.
And I think, Cindy, I know you had indicated that OFA had some involvement and got a call from a different family member.
Yes. Her son called maybe 3 months before, and he asked about companion care. He asked about Meals on Wheels, and he said he would talk it over with other family members, I guess, but they never called back, or the son never called back.
Can we coordinate something like does it have to be the family member that sets up the Meals on Wheels? Or can Lifespan or APS help set that up with, what's her name, Betty, with Betty.
Luckily, she's in our system.
Right.
So we have the initial consent. So it could be a dual referral for the meals and for our ISIP aid service.
Oh, that would be helpful.
So we could get someone in the home.
Perhaps we can change the power of attorney if she's competent enough to change the power of attorney.
We have available legal referrals. We could put a legal referral in to change her power of attorney.
APS isn't not involved yet, right?
No, Adult Protective isn't involved yet, but I do think it's definitely something that we could probably take a referral on and then make a joint visit together. And then we could request from the daughter an accounting, and then go from there and see if we then need to involve law enforcement. Did the bank say to you when they noticed these new?
No, they just said that there was some suspicious activity noted in her account, not any dates yet at this time. That was kind of my next
I
step.
typically will ask 3 to 5 years on a look back. Are you?
Yeah, that's good. Okay. Yeah, that's good. And then we can narrow it down if we're going to subpoena the records.
Allison, when you checked the clerk's office, did you notice the property records? Any deeds in her name or recent transfers? Any mortgages?
So she has a house in her name, but we don't know of any other assets. It doesn't look like it's been transferred.
Okay, so she's still living by herself, the mom, right? I mean, at some point, it would be great, and this is sort of just kind of thinking broader, to do like run a record or credit history for her and see whether or not because if she is stealing from her, she may be opening an account. I mean, if she's putting bank statements in the cushions of her couch, what else is she not taking care of?
From the law enforcement side, I don't know what your guys' thoughts are about this, but I wouldn't mind coming out with Caitlin and Adult Protective just to touch base with her, because it seems like with the other documents, and plus we also have here that she's saying there's charges on her statements that she doesn't recognize. I mean, the odds are we're going to be involved. So I have a lot of questions that I would want to ask her as well, especially when we do get to the subpoena point with what Karen said, from 6 months to a year, just so we can find that pattern of spending that she had would be good for us.
When we get the records, what I'll do is just go through, we'll look at the expenses, of course, which are normal and recurring. If it's rent or utilities, are they happening every month? Is she in danger of foreclosure or eviction? In this case, she owns her home, so, we're not worried about eviction. But we're also going to look at the income. Was her Social Security and her pension deposited each month? And if it wasn't, was she receiving it by check and someone was going and cashing those checks, or was it being diverted to some other account? And hopefully we can find some other assets that way. We are subpoenaing records. APS can't obviously get the suspect's records, so I would want to see the daughter's bank records as well to see, was she depositing any money from the client? Was she paying her own bills, or was the client paying them, and that kind of thing.
And I'll do some digging as well into the daughter, because I haven't looked anything up as far as her history and stuff.
All right, so we've touched on some of the more kind of immediate concerns in terms of eating and some of the trying to figure out who she's connected with for a physician, ensuring that she's getting her medications, and then also some of the more longer term aspects in terms of kind of the investigation to figure out what's going on in the case.
So in summary, we will be obtaining financial records from the bank and obtaining a credit report. A referral will be made to Adult Protective Services, and they will move forward with requesting an accounting from the power of attorney. Law enforcement will be conducting a home visit with Adult Protective Services and the Elder Abuse Prevention Program and checking their database for any history of involvement with the daughter. On the medical end, the Elder Abuse Prevention Program will be working with Betty to identify a primary care provider and schedule an appointment for a med review. We will refer to Office for the Aging for a referral to Meals on Wheels and a referral for home care and aid services through ISAP. Finally, we will also make a referral to Legal Services to explore changing the power of attorney.
There's a lot to do. I will put everything together and follow up with kind of who's been assigned what so far, and then I'll also reach out about scheduling in 2 weeks.